We are live.
What's going on, people? Welcome to Monsters and Myths campaign, the Village Over Yonder, session 1. For those of you chiming in and watching, if you haven't seen our session 0, feel free to go back through the YouTube links and check that out. It gives a good basis, background, and foundation for what's going to be going on today. However, today we get into the meat and bones of it, diving into the wonderful adventure setting of the Village Over Yonder, provided by Skylarking Media and Alluhwi Comics for their new Monsters and Myths campaign. Again, let me introduce myself. I am Drew, your DM for the evening, coming from Barbados Dungeons and Dragons. Joined today by these lovely people. If you would like to go ahead and introduce yourself, feel free, starting with Mandy.
I am so sorry. Repeat that because you broke up a little bit for me.
No worries, just go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, I'm Mandy. Been playing D&D for about consistently for about 4 years now, both DMing and as a player. Love tabletop games, etc.
Sweet, we'll get into everyone's characters later. Marcus?
Hi, my name is Marcus. I've been playing D&D for about 2.5 years now, and pretty excited to see what's going to go down today.
Cody? Or Ash, as
Yep.
they go by.
Yeah. Once again, Cody only to the bank and the government. So unless you are the bank or the government, it's just Ash. It works fine. There's a layered reference to that will become clear later. But I have been playing D&D mostly and like tabletop RPGs for. I keep trying to do the math on this and I never do it right. A long time. What is rapidly becoming about half of my life, but I'm 22, so like not that long, but like long.
And last but not least, we have Cameron, who is currently with us.
I am kind of here. Good night, everyone. My name is Cameron. You can call me Cam for short. I've been playing D&D for about, let's say, since COVID to current. And I'm very interested in this Caribbean infused tabletop game that Mark has created for us.
Perfect. So, without further ado, let us delve into the world of monsters and myths in the Village Over Yonder. You start off with the sloshing of waves throwing your bodies around like coconuts on the water, bumping into the other tourists within the small boat like peas in a shack pod. There's the sound of retching coming from the driver at the back of the boat. The air as you travel through the strange mist is heavy and clings to your skin like a spider web through a doorway. Yet, it's not too long before this unpleasant and unpromised trip turns into what you had seen on the brochure. Vibrant bright blue skies, fishing boats dancing together on their moorings over crystal clear blue waters, the fast flashes of fish darting under their blue shadows as they all seem to be pointing towards a pier with a single figure standing on it. Beyond the pier lies a dock of similar small fishing boats to those moored in the bay. Some have been pulled up on the sand amongst small piles of brown seaweed. Others stand on makeshift lifts of 55-gallon drums painted in blue and white stripes, rusted over time from the sea air. Surely that can't be structurally sound. Yet, despite the strong smell of the sea air, the breeze coming from the land carries a foul stench on it, with every small gust gliding over the small waves, as you see a couple silhouetted figures standing, gutting fish and throwing the offal into the surf. The white sand of the beaches is pockmarked with small patches of brown seaweed like freckles on the white sand, tall palms swaying in time with sloshing sounds of the tide. Just beyond the busy fish market is a village square with a respectable-sized Gothic church and its graveyard beyond. its spires reaching upwards towards the cloud, and what appears to be some sort of bird has built a nest right in front of the round stained glass windows over the large mahogany doors. To the east of the square, following the single paved road through town, is a colorful shop, plastered in half-ripped posters for various products, torn and clawed at like a cat scratching post. From within come the sounds of raucous laughter, lively music over a blown-out speaker, and the intermittent jumping slaps and bangs that sound like a misbehaved schoolboy receiving his punishment. Thwack! Further east are barrows and colorful chateaux amongst a few brick and mortar that lead towards the cliff sides, overlooking the ocean. That seems to be angrier here, slamming against the shallow, rocky reef, vines stretching down over the cragged cliff face from the precipice as if offering a hand to anything trying to escape. However, in the other direction, to the west, come the sounds of laughter as small silhouettes kick a ball towards football goals on either side of a cricket pitch and over the hard mound next to a small yellow schoolhouse. An old lady stands in the doorway of the pale blue wooden shop next door, watching over the children with the occasional strips and indiscernible shout. On the horizon loom some grey clouds, potentially heading this way, but they look like them getting passed over, a voice from a nearby anchored boat says. At which point, the party lands on the dock, greeted there by what you can now see was the original silhouette. As you step out, would you first, coming out, is Maddie, would you like to describe your character?
Sure. You see a little petite woman in her mid-40s. She's got a wild crop of salt and pepper hair. She is wearing a pair of like khaki style like shorts mid-thigh and some combat boots, and then she's got on like a blouse and a jacket, but she's lots of trinkets and bits and bobs. Utility belts around her waist. What looks like it could be a Swiss Army knife hanging at her hip, but on closer inspection, it's a little bit more different, customized somehow. And she has on a big hat that at first looks like a safari type hat, but when you turn to the side, it's actually a witch's hat, because why not? And she's bright-eyed and wild and stepping out like noise. What's that? What's going on?
She's followed shortly behind by Ash. Would you like to describe your character?
Yeah. So basically, they look like what would happen if you let a teenager into a Hot Topic with no spending limit. I'm talking, we're going full like checkered pants with the dumb little loops. They have on a hoodie with the Sonic Adventure 2 box art on the back, even though it's so hot and they're so sweaty, but they refuse to take it off because it's just too cool. They are like scrawny and probably like a clean 2 feet taller than their mother in front of them. Just slightly greasy hair because it's been a little too long since they've watched it. And just nose down in their 3DS because there's no signal, but they're working on a Pokemon Omega Ruby Nuzlocke. So they're really committed to that right now.
Fair enough.
I'm trying to see what's going on and looking for the source of this, of whatever's happening, and like pay attention. Getting him in the arm.
Not stepping too far away off the gangway, you are quickly bumped into by another figure behind you. Marcus, would you like to describe your character?
Yeah, sure. He's wearing a black jeans, gray shirt, medium height. Some pretty nice pair of Ray-Bans, and a small backpack on his back. With this kind of, I wonder if these people have a nice look on his face. So that's pretty much all he is. It's mystery for now.
Fair enough. And It seems to be as if no one else on your cruise ship decided to take this tour and stop for the island today, as you three were the only tourists who decided to get onto the tender coming towards this little slice of Caribbean life. However, standing on the dock waiting for you is your greeter. Cameron, would you like to introduce your character?
Okay, so you see a very heavy set male figure. Full beard. He has a faded cut. And I guess the wear that he has, you would consider cyberpunkish. And you see along his arms a tattoo pattern in the shape of a sleeve. And he has a toothpick in his mouth. And he gives them a head nod and asks them if they're here for the tour.
Mom, is that what we're here for? Are we here for the tour?
Oh, it's a tour.
Did we just get on a?
Yes.
Did
I'm
you
here
just
to
get us
find
on a
things.
boat again? Is that what happened?
I'm
We
here.
just got on a boat
I
because it
was
looked cool.
following my. Listen, I'm gonna take out my glasses and put them on. These are round glasses, so just like one little monocle on the side. Like I was here because I heard that there were things potentially of interest here. So if a tour is the way to go, a tour is the way to go. Hello, sir. I'm looking at Cam. I'm sorry. What is your name?
You could call me Jin.
Chin.
That's what most people call me.
Pleasant day. Pleasant day. My name is Trixie. Everyone calls me Fizz. This is my son Olin. I don't think we've met you. Marcus. Nice to meet you.
I say I look at is you said is Fizz?
Fizz. Fizz is what everyone calls me, yes. The name is Trixie,
nice.
but if you call me Trixie, I will probably not answer you. I'm not accustomed to answering to that name.
She probably won't answer to Fizz either. She gets very distracted.
That's very true. Listen, stop telling people that. I get involved in my work, okay?
He chuckles a bit at the sassiness of your son, and because that would not fly in Barbados usually. And he goes over to the other person and just clarifies if he's with the group as well.
Yes, I'm with the group as well, and this tour seems, fun from the start. So let's get it.
Cool. So I ushered them to a hut. Is
fair enough.
Nice waiting. That's just a waiting area for it to begin. And I offer them. I tell them that they could try like the snow cones or the coconuts while they wait.
As you make your way down the pier, as you pat towards the dock, in towards the fish market, towards the center of the square, you can hear the cacophony of the fish market, people yelling back and forth, imperceptible shouts, heavy accents here. At this point, the pungent, hard-hitting smell of the offal is now, for some, perhaps making your hairs stand on the back. For some, it's stomach churning. And as you look around, you can see, however, there is an array of colorful, wonderful, both reef fish and deep sea fish, large, beautiful red and pink slabs of meat that they've set up, flayed out perfectly along with these fish bones next to them as they toss the offal. And the floor underneath you is a little bit slippery, so be very careful as you take each steps. And it's a weird mix of fluid and sticky. So you're about to slip, and then there's the of whatever residue has fallen off here and has not exactly made its way through the drain.
I just
However,
bought new shoes for this.
as you
Fizz
make your way,
is busy to see the knives, like what are they using, and not paying attention to the actual stuff on the ground. So she just might slip.
sure, Fizz, let's have our first card pull then.
Oh, fun.
If you can pull a card for me and
Mhm.
give me either reflexes or a dexterity, any modifier that you may have that will stop you from landing plan ass onto this floor.
Remember when I said she was really little? She has no body stats at all, but that's a 7.
7. Olin, are you going to try and catch her?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Um,
Maybe
heavily distracted, also with Olin distracted behind you, his head down into his 3DS. There's this short thwack as it's almost like she just sat down how short she was, but it sounded like she sat with a thumb.
Mhm.
Are you okay?
I'm I'm fine. Sorry. Oh, yuck. Okay, I'm
Careful,
kind
the
of
floor
wiping
is
off
slippery.
shit off my thanks, son. I didn't see
You're
that.
welcome.
The
Evidently.
knives, I'm interested in the knives because they get such nice clean cuts and they just look okay. I'll pay attention now. She's not paying attention. She's walking around looking at everything else.
There's small snickers from some of the fish folk here as they look around and watch. Sweetheart, watch your step there. The floor, it would get you.
I see that. I see that. I'm more interested in your knives though. Can I see them?
Yeah, you see with your eyes.
Yes. No. That's.
They hold up these lovely fillet knives, some of them with mother of pearl handles, and they seem to be handmade and handcrafted. However, extremely sharp for the work that they're doing.
Yeah,
as
I'm just enthralled.
As you make your way towards the square, you see a snow cone stand unattended right at the edge of the fish market, starting off on this southern side of the square. And as you call out, 1 second, as you call out Jin for the treats for these complimentary snow cones and coconuts for the arriving tourists, you all turn to see one of the fisher folk who has just ripped his hand in between and grabbed the gills and ripped them clean out, bringing out all the offal and guts with him. He goes, "Yeah, that I come in there now," and he just shakes his hands off and turns around and comes and walks towards his snow cone cart.
No, thank you.
Sounds about
Delicious.
Tutti frutti, milk. What do y'all want? He goes, "I'll sort you out." And he goes and just, without rinsing off his hands, just starts to dip in and make some snow cones as he hands one to each of y'all.
Yeah, Fizz is horrified.
However, armed with your sweet, disgusting treats, the rest of the village is yours to explore. So, to reiterate, in simple terms, you have the church and graveyard to your north, across on the other side of the town square. To the east, you have the rum shop that goes up a hill towards the barrows and the cliff faces. There seems to be a bit of a forest and a tropical jungle up there. Towards the left or the west is the schoolhouse and local shop market. There is only one singular paved road which runs through this town. It comes from east to west laterally, and as you can look, as it seems to meander, elbowing and bending its way up the hill towards the jungle, it seems to become less paved, more pockmarked and potholed. That's not to say that the entire area as well is spotted and sporadic with a mix of colorful chattel houses and brick and mortar houses lining this seaside town. However, it's yours to explore.
Can I tell them that the tour guide is still out with the last group and they should be back shortly? And as soon as I say that, they can arrive. And then I hail him as Sharpman. Sharpman, I think Sharpman is good. I think Sharpman is a good tour guide name.
Short
At
man,
which
tall
point-
man, big man.
You see a tall, lanky gentleman, arms swinging, with rather unkempt hair. He has on what looks to be a little bit of a too large floral print shirt, which also doesn't look to be much his style, and some cut-off jeans. He's wearing a name tag that says Short Man, and at which point he says, he comes by and says, "Yeah, Jin. So one of the last tour people, their little child fell down and twisted his ankle. So I taken them to see the to see the nurse over in the school. So yeah, buddy, you moved here. You wanted to be part of the community. This one's on you. I believe that Mr. Ned and Mia said that they might pass by and help you out at some point. But other than that, I mean, let them roam free, brother. All yours."
Let them roam free.
Fizz is already walking away.
No, grabbing you by the back of the shirt.
I tap her on her. I tap her on her shoulders. Like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Unless you can find Wi-Fi, don't go anywhere.
Hey, I got you. I got a hotspot. You want some?
Ooh.
Oh, I absolutely do want
he
a
wants
hotspot.
it.
Yes.
I don't exactly. I don't really need it. I pull out a little fold up magnifying glass, start like trying to find rocks.
There you go. Here's the hotspot passcode.
But
Right,
yeah, I tell them that since I have to come around, which is not really my job, and I grumble, I just tell them, "Well, you heard where the hot spots are. Just let me know where you want to go first." And I kind of like mumble under my breath.
Well, I'm looking for a Pokestop, so I don't know if there's any of those out here.
Is there a church somewhere? It's probably a Pokestop. I'm gonna look up Marcus and kind of like start talking nicely to him while Olin is looking for a Pokestop.
I'm looking for a Pokestop.
Well, I'm kind of hungry, so if there's any good food stops along the way, I'll be good with that.
Oh,
I look at
I don't
look
have a
at
lot of
him
time
and
to
say, "You." I look at him and ask if he's really interested in the food after he's had his snow cone.
I haven't touched that thing. It's over there under the brick over there. Look,
it's water
down
now.
yonder. It's right
Yes. Slowly melting, the very thin napkin that was wrapped around it is now saturated through as the syrup, it has melted coming over the sides and is now being surrounded by flies. However, Jin, you would know that the rum shop does offer a higher health and food safety rating than the snow cones at the fish market, and is kind of the spot in town to get a good meal to eat, essentially. However, for you, Olin, you do know, by the way, looking at your face down into anyone who's looking at a screen, it's still quite early in the day. It's about 9:30, 10ish. So you can get a good meal. If you need it, might be a little bit early. You might have to wait a little bit. However, the option's still there if needed.
Yep, should have skip breakfast. So
I'm actually gonna kind of like go up to Marcus and you know, I'm cool to walk around. I'm not much interested in food, but maybe if we could find, I don't know if there's any like little workshops or anything here. I'd also like to take a look at the rocks and like the cliff faces and genealogy and stuff, the geology and stuff of the place, because I'm really interested in that kind of thing. And I've heard there's lots of interesting stuff to be found here. So if you guys can't find me, look for me by the
She's
rocks.
looking for rocks.
But,
yeah, just
yeah.
Rocks.
But I'm cool to walk around with you. I just have a tendency to wander off. Just so you know.
That's fine. I walk around with you. I'm looking for some trinkets as well. I want to get one of those knives over there. I
would like one of those knives.
Those knives
I wonder
really,
if there's
really good.
any kind of like clockwork type stuff. Jin, would you know if there's any like workshop that deals in small machinery, gadgets, anything of the sort? That's my interest. I heard there was a school. Maybe there's something there that's interesting. You know, kids are always experimenting if they're not face down in their devices, you know.
He scratches his head and cocks it to the side and says, well, the school is a primary school, so you won't really get much there. But there is a metal workshop near the church.
Her eyes just light up at the sound of a metal workshop.
Can we make our own knives there?
He says metal workshop, but it's really a scrapyard, and the person is known for doing I guess arts and craft with the metal, but there are people who use it for other purposes as well.
Even better.
Okay.
Okay, point me in the direction of that, and also the knives, because they really are beautiful. You want to check the knives out first?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay. I don't know, Olin, are you walking behind, or are you just searching for Pokemon?
I'm like 2 steps behind you in case you wander off, but I have Wi-Fi now. I'm tapped out.
As y'all start making your way, you would notice one of the fisher folk who all seem to have hair. They're a mixture of about 4 or 5 adults and what seems to be about 3 teens. They all have very similar facial features. They all dress in a smattering of ripped jeans and light, dirty t-shirts. Some of them even wearing those fishnet vests, assortments of hats to keep the sun out of their face. However, all busy. Some of them every now going down towards the shore or swimming out to one of their boats to tend to them, casting nets and catching small bait fish and the like. However, what appears to be one of the elder gentlemen, lady way, I know you're all going exploring, but if you make your way up to the top of the cliffs, 2 of my children run off out there. Them when exploring this morning, they were supposed to be looking for like crab meat, swampy meat, with the rain that we had recently to try and get some bait, but they haven't come back yet. So if you get out there, just keep an eye out for them for me, please, if you don't mind. 2 youngsters, upstarts. Them probably out there throwing rocks at each other or whipping each other with bamboo canes or some foolishness.
When you say youngsters, do you mean youngsters like little youngsters or like him?
Like 12-teen, like 13, 12-teen.
Okay. That's an interesting word. I remember that word. Okay.
We'll look out for them.
Yeah, just keep an eye out. The wicked, they might try and, lash you too, but tell them granddaddy say come back that, if Harders don't hear, Harders will feel. They're supposed to be working.
Okay, then. Looks at belt.
Working? Okay.
Sorry, what was that, Marcus?
Okay, looks at my belt.
Don't hit my children here. Don't.
Maybe if they told at me, then
Actually, if they need a lash, get them a lash. You can say it come from me.
Yeah,
Not a
no.
problem.
All right. Which direction are we headed, gang?
Metal.
Yeah, metal.
Metal workshop. To see if they have any knives, or if we can actually make one.
Well, you want to make a knife because you can buy the knives that the guys here use
Ooh.
in the fish market.
How much money do
purchasing
we
it.
have? Do we have money? This is something we should have asked.
Of course,
You
that
don't
does
have
not
money.
in Barbados.
Mechanical point of order.
You would have, I imagine you've
Owen
come,
has it.
right.
Yeah,
you-
I
you-
hold the family
I would
first.
just.
yes. You would have come with spending money for the day. So, think around 200, maybe $300. However, you weren't, it's a day tour that you were expecting. So you didn't come with a barrel full of cash on you, expecting to buy anything extravagant.
200 Barbados dollars or 200 foreign currency?
200
That's important.
local currency to wherever this nondescript Caribbean island location is.
Mhm.
Okay.
200 yen.
200 yes dollars.
Dollars.
Whereas if I approve, I will say yes. You can use your dollars on that.
Okay.
Amazing. All right.
Sweet.
That'll work.
As you make your way over to the metalwork shop through this small town square, there is a small is a relative term. In the center is a plinth about 10 feet up with some steps that go around it and a small little fountain that leads to a statue of what appears to be an elderly woman sitting in a rocking chair. It seems to be made of bronze or brass, with her feet in a long dress, feet covered. She seems to be sitting hunched over with a sort of large tie around her head. What appear to be small locks coming out the back, and very minimal two large hoop earrings on, and what appears to be a very rather modest necklace in terms of this sculpture. And she seems to be sitting, leaning forward slightly in this rocking chair, just knitting what seems to be, or crocheting, a small square of some sort of cloth.
I think this is when you would see like Fizz sort of stop in her tracks and kind of mesmerized for a second, literally standing there and staring at it and taking it all in. I don't know that she would try to touch it, but she's interested in the material. And if anybody's
there's a fountain
close
around
enough,
so you wouldn't be able to
Right.
get to it unless you waded through the fountain, which
Okay.
you imagine might be a bit rude to the people of the town. But
okay, she's not really the kind that cares, but she's
Fair
probably
enough.
not going to, because she's kind of like staring at the character, at the statue. And what kind, she can tell what kind of metal it is.
What? Yeah, do you have anything in perhaps tech or
do.
arcana, perhaps essence or a perception, or
Mhm.
anything that you think would be fitting for this,
Uh,
or
I'm
anyone
actually
else who has a modifier in this, in any of those, intelligence, perception,
I'm actually,
essence,
I have-
any of those.
I have both intelligence and essence, but what I want to, I'm gonna pull for essence, because I want to see if there's anything imbued or anything special about this metal.
Sure.
This is one to, king +9.
That's a critical success.
Mhm.
So as you look, you can see it's definitely a bronze statue. Handmade. It's old. As you look around, probably you can tell that it's aged with some of these older buildings, perhaps even before. So as you look around as well, you can see that some of these buildings look like they've been destroyed and rebuilt, with half of them being wooden structures and the other half being in brick and mortar, perhaps by some sort of natural phenomenon which has happened here at some point in the past. And with an essence, you gain the sense that there is a take this loosely, life crafted into it. That whoever made this threw part of themselves into the creation of this, and within such, it has almost imbibed itself within the metal.
And I think if anybody's
Cooking
anyone's
with love, as if you can actually put love as an ingredient.
right, I think Fizz, Olin would be entirely unsurprised by this, but if anybody was close enough to her, they'd actually hear her kind of like muttering and almost talking to the statue itself, not the woman the statue is, but the material of the statue, because she can see craftsmanship when it's there, and kind of like the magic that happens when you create some things. She's literally going to sit there mumbling a little bit to the statue. Poor
So
Marcus.
I take note of that, and I just lean in just to hear what she's muttering.
That is
Also
sort of like
take note of that and
she's
back away slowly.
lol. It's kind of along the lines of you know, when hands touch something, it becomes magic, and I can feel your magic. Kind of just like literally talking to this and Olin is literally probably rolling his eyes, walking away.
No, if you're muttering, I'm gonna put my phone away because now I have to pay attention to what you're doing before
True,
you like
'cause there's
steal
something.
something.
I'm not gonna.
But I feel
steal
like I feel like in putting the phone away, looking at the statue, there is like a moment of he is his mother's child, and there's genuine interest there, and he's kind of like as interested in it as you are, but more in the like mundane side rather than this gobbledygook that you do.
Yeah, of course.
Jane, as you notice them noticing this, just from your brief stint here so far, you would know this as the Statue of Gran-Gran, who was the matron and founder of this town, who managed to lead a small rebellion against the original plantation owners, which had claim to this land. And her, along with Gran-Gran's gals, they were able to rise up and reclaim this land, at which point she brought herself and some of her kin here, where they settled and founded this town.
Gran-Gran sounds like Sarah and you.
Yeah.
You're muted, by the way.
You are muted. Yeah.
Sorry about that. So he, based on what you said, for him that translates to she was a gang leader that she was a gang leader that led a rebellion and founded this town. Because he's really not here to be a tour guide.
Right.
But that's how he interprets the story. She was a famous like gang mob leader that founded this town.
Are you telling us this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm being a tour guide very badly.
Reluctantly. Okay. She was a gang leader, you said?
Well, more of a gang is such a crude word.
A mobster?
Is that a better word?
I don't think that's a better word. Let's just say
A revolutionary
leader.
activist?
Now I
Sure,
like her.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Okay.
But she also
Is
made
this-
money, so I guess yeah.
Okay.
I mean, do you have to be
both.
broke? Do you have to be
is
broke
this-
to be a revolutionary? Like, is it? Do you make a certain amount of money and then stop being a revolutionary? Or
How
What's
tall?
the
How
tax
tall
bracket?
is Fizz's son?
Well, I am probably about 5'1", 5'2", so he's at least a foot taller, I guess.
Yeah, I'm pushing 6'3" because that's a number.
Yeah.
6'3".
All skin and bones. There's
How
not an
old? How
ounce of
old are you? 6'3".
17.
Yeah.
You
No,
sure you don't want to be a
I-
And
basketball
Fizz is
player?
little, like small.
I caught my head to the side and I was like, I don't know of any rich revolutionaries. And I say point blank that the American Revolution doesn't count.
That's
Okay, but you
Fair.
can't be like, I can't think of something, but that one thing that does count, that doesn't count. I feel like that's just.
And my reply is I just did. And then
So,
they
like, what do
switched.
you do
The statue.
here? Because you're clearly a very bad tour guide. So, like, what's your
like,
day
I'd
job?
be like, I'm about to open my mouth to tell Owen to mind his manners, and then decide against it because he's not wrong.
Do I want to be like honest with them?
You're
Do I-
taking too
While
long.
they're
Are you a
talking-
part? Are you a part of this revolutionary activism that's going on? Is the party still around?
Save a bit of the intrigue. Jim.
I shrug. I was like,
Okay, so I take out my phone and I start writing stuff down.
No worries.
I mean,
Uh,
he was calling them gang leaders and mobsters. So I feel like, if anything, like, I don't think he likes these people. Like, I
While
don't
they're
know a
talking,
lot of
I'm
my
looking
best
for-
friends that.
I'm looking for a piece of the statue that may or may not have broken off somewhere while they're talking. I'm just like looking around.
try all
do I
you might.
notice her?
it was
Do I
not.
notice her trying that?
You're
You
busy
would notice
talking.
her looking. You would notice her looking around, and you're busy talking. However, she can't get too close because there is the small fountain which extends about 2 feet from around the plinth. And for you, Fizz, there's nothing here that looks like it's broken off. It looks well made, weathered for sure.
Okay.
But nothing that would insinuate anything is broken off at any point in time.
Okay.
As you guys continue prattling on, having this discussion of what may or may not constitute a gang leader or the importance of Gran-Gran and her gals, you make
I
your
like
way.
it.
You start to hear the crashes and bangs and the whirring of what sounds like some form of fast spinning blade from inside this galvanized shop, which seems to be half attached to the back of a shadow house just off to the side of the church towards the eastern side. And there's the quick, like, high pitched spinning and then a loud bang before you hear Raswell. And then
I'm going that way.
and then you hear what sound like two voices, a male and a female voice, coming from inside the shop. Rather indistinct at the moment. Outside, you can see in a half overgrown yard next to a little pathway that leads up to the opening in the galvanized wall. You can see what seem to be rather simple but well crafted figures in all sizes, ranging from about 8 inches in height to the tallest being around 6 feet, of very fluid looking metallic figures in various forms of dance. Some of them look like they have like steel pans around them or drums that they're playing. Others seem to be arm in arm and dancing. It seems like a well crafted and a display of the culture here of some sort.
I'm going walking in and same thing, looking around, looking at all the metal, all the things.
Right, as you make your way in, you notice there are two figures inside. One is about mid to late 30s male. He's got his hair is short, and you can see with a somewhat scraggly beard, you can see he's starting to have early signs of graying along his temples and along the jowls. He's holding his wrist at this point, and he's got on a leather artisan's apron over what looks to be a single jumpsuit, like a mechanic's jumpsuit of sorts. His name tag says Ned on it. And as you walk in, you can see various tools for different parts of bending metal. In here, you can smell that ozone smell of an angle grinder. And it looks, all the tools and whatnot look well used. However, the floor is a mixture of compacted gravel and just odd spots of concrete where some of the heavier tools like the lathe and the bandsaw have been bolted down. Except looking around in the corners, it doesn't seem to be well kept or well cleaned, I should say. Because there is an abundance of cobwebs all over the place, even so much so as you walk through, you have to brush a couple out of your face, and you're doing the weird little dance that you do as you try to pull them off your skin. He's being tended to by what looks to be a young adult woman, fair, light brown skin. She has like a sarong on. With a basic halter top. She's got bangles adorning her left hand, a small little nose ring right over her left nostril, large hoops, concentric, some of them in the middle spinning, almost as if those wind chimes. Their hair is unkempt in one of very curly hair and almost a semi-fro. And she is barefoot as well. As she sees your face, Fizz, and those of the rest of your party behind you, she stops tending to him and goes, "Oh, you must be the new tourist that just came. Oh, please, I'm Mia. Pleasure to meet you."
Hi, Mia.
Thanks.
Why are you barefoot in the metal workshop?
Yeah, that seems like a bad idea.
And at this point, the
Maybe
gentleman
she
goes,
knows her way around. I see nothing wrong with this.
I keep telling her so, but she won't listen. I'm Eric Ned, by the way.
Well, you're the one injured, it looks like. What? Are you okay?
I'll be fine. It's just a little. I'll be all right. It's a piece of square coping here caught the bandsaw and hit back at me, but nothing a little mending or working. I'll don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Cameron, Jin. Short man couldn't take them around. I see you're showing them around. And Mia goes, "Now don't be silly. He's been here a little bit. He's more than capable too." She goes, "Oof. By the way, at this point, she goes, none of you have an extra snow cone you don't want, by the way? I'm terribly parched in this hot place, and I could definitely do with a sip." And she's looking and seeing that some of you have not eaten or drank your snow cones at this point.
I mean, it's
give her mine.
mostly melted, but
I give her mine. I give her mine. It's like just take mine.
Sorry, I had one, but I left it back at the beach.
She goes,
if you want two, it's on the table.
Yeah,
It's okay,
mine is long been discarded outside.
the more the merrier. Maybe Ned will want one as well. If he doesn't, I'll have him later. And she does a little skip over. Doing very well to dodge any shavings or sharp objects on the floor. She grabs him over and she says, come in. Welcome to our little town. What do you think so far?
My nose is
Um,
already like in the bits and bobs that are on the floor.
Is there any possibility of us making something here in the shop?
You know what? As
Mhm.
Eric, Mr. Ned Tersey says, if that's how you want to spend your time here, I'm sure that can be arranged. I am going to take a little break, and I do think you will need supervision in your time here. So, that being said, do you want to just come back a little bit later, and I can help with that? And at which point,
What
Mia chimes in.
materials do you work with?
Mostly iron, steel, copper, brass. Just the basics. Try aluminum.
Sounds delightful.
At which point Mia chimes in as well. She goes, "Oh, of course. No, you want to have to go see the rest of the town. It's wondrous. We're really, I'm the one who organized for the cruise ships to stop here, by the way, and I'm really trying to bring wonder and whimsy and back to our little slice of paradise, if you will."
Okay, it sounds good. We will take a look around the town and then we'll be back. Is there any place that you recommend?
Besides the whole thing, I recommend
Yeah.
the whole thing.
What is your favorite place to go?
Well, it depends the time of day. If you're going around lunchtime, I love to go to the One Stop Rum Shop. The Mama Cherry, who runs it, is a bit of a curmudgeon at times, but she's a lovely member of our little society that we've cultivated here. Towards the sunsets, even though it's towards the east, up by the bluffs and the cliffs, you can get a lovely view of the sunset coming through down the west. And just generally exploring. I like to just, saunter through little cries, go swimming in the ocean. Anything I can really enjoy. She's like, I'm trying to breathe life back into this place rather than the same old souls and old faces who seem to haunt this little town.
Oh, sounds good then, and I'll take your word for it.
Great.
Let's turn and walk away.
For the time being, I'm going to get this clumsy old fool some help.
Mhm.
She runs back, grabs both of the snow cones, and happily starts to begin slurping them down as she takes him by the arm, crook and crook, and begins to walk off.
Okay. I'm looking around for anything that looks interesting on the floor, scrap, and then I kind of just want to look around a little bit and see other things that are in the yard, if there's anything that's been made or.
Sure. What exactly are you looking for again?
I'm just trying to find anything that looks like it might be of interest. I love to collect cogs and wheels and screws, stuff like that, because I can make use of them. But I also enjoy seeing craftsmanship and artistry. So, just having a look around, getting a feel for the place and what's available and what's possible.
I asked her what she's doing.
Yes, fair
Just
enough.
looking. I'm literally just looking. I'm looking.
Looking for what?
Not for
Rocks.
something. I just look at things and bits and pieces, something that's discarded. I like to collect little trinkets here and there. I make things myself, so I like to kind of like see. And I've heard that there's stuff that's good for making here, and that some of the techniques that the artisans and crafters use here are worthy of being studied. So I'm looking.
Please don't actually give her anything. We have a room at home that's just like rocks from
If I could
trips,
have used
and
them already, I would have.
we have 6 different jars of rusty nails. When are you going to use
Listen.
those?
It's just a collection, and it is valid.
A collection of what? Tetanus? What did we?
Bits.
I whisper to Marcus. It kind of sounds like she's a hoarder.
Hoarder's a kind of a.
I actually do make cool things, by the way.
Sometimes, but most of the time they just like sit there for 3 years.
It's experimentation because things are not finished. I need things to finish the things. That's what I'm looking for. And I never know until I see them that they're going to be important.
Have anything you've done? Has it been finished? Do you have any photos that we can see?
I mean, I don't walk around with a phone. It drives me nuts.
I asked if she's like, so are you like a machinist, like inventor sort of type person, or are you like an artist sort of type person?
Inventor, and sometimes I can actually find like an essence, and that's kind of cool and make things. I don't like to call it magic because it's weird to call it magic, and then people look at you like you're insane.
People look at you like you're insane because you talk to rocks. That's why they look at you like that.
Rocks
because you're having a conversation with rocks.
Child. You go have a conversation with Pokemon. Bye.
Does this universe know about Rocco and Zoe?
Sure.
So when he says that she talks to rocks, I'm like, you like Rocco?
Who's Rocco? No, like I'll actually pull a couple of like crystals out of my pocket. So like there's a rose quartz and there's like a little malachite and there's like they have personality by themselves. I'm literally gonna stand there and show you the rocks and tell you what their attributes are and why they're important. I can use these when I make things and gadgets and it makes them important. Now see, like I have I'll pull a little out of another pouch. I have a little music box that you don't have to wind up. I'll literally just put it there. And if you leave it there for it will just play. And then depending on what I put in it, the music is different. And then I can make it so that it could, I don't know. I'm trying to make it so it can make someone sleepy, but that hasn't worked yet. I have to find the right stone to put in it.
So you have a music box that you made, and when you put different types of minerals in it, it plays different tunes.
Mm-hmm. Different kinds of music.
Have you patented
this? Getting more and more animated. When
I was like, so have you patented it yet? Do you sell these music boxes?
Put it away. Not yet. I'm walking away.
Have you ever sold a music box? Like, do you sell your inventions?
I'm not interested in making money. There's a reason why I don't the best thing that happened was Olin being old enough to handle buying things and counting money because I don't have time for that. I'm not entirely sure how, like, you get the idea that you like somehow this woman managed to raise a child to be 17. Somehow she kept him alive.
I lived with my dad for a while.
But yeah, have a proficiency in things like clairvoyance or essence or weird, or perhaps even a little bit in tech through perception and intelligence. You can all feel free to go ahead and just give me a little flop as Fizz talks about her little speaking box and her music box.
Not including me, right?
I think I have clairvoyance. I'm not sure if I have a what in it? A proficiency in it. But I know I have.
It would be yes, it would be in your traits, and at that point you would add your modifier to it. So whichever of your persona scores that you added to clairvoyance while you were creating your character, whatever that additional is, we will do a flop, which is you turn a card and you add that to it.
Okay, so I have a 4 in clairvoyance.
I have a 7 in clairvoyance.
I'm assuming you don't want me to roll, right, Drew?
No, these are your things.
Yeah.
So
I'll actually like while they're doing that, I'll pull the
For
crystal out.
Marcus.
The crystal like a carnelian or like a deep sort of reddish brown crystal, and put in the sort of pinky clear crystal, and the music changes.
Which works
So you can
perfect
see.
for the Queen of Diamonds, which will be a crit.
Ooh.
And then for you, Jin, that is a 3 plus what is your modifier to your clairvoyance?
I think that's a 7 that I have. That's the
That's the
so
number
going
that you've.
across.
That's the
Yeah,
number
there's a
that you've
7.
attributed to your
This is under
clairvoyance.
this is under the values column.
Yes. So when you,
Psionics.
So it's a 7 there for me.
okay, so that's only a 10 for you. As she talks about this, there seems to be a shimmering and glittering to her stones in the way that she interacts with them, especially here in this place. For you, Marcus, it's almost as if what Olin has said now seems like the preposterous aspect of it, as you can almost hear the music and the little sounds coming from the gem before she even puts it into the music box. And it's for you, it's clear. You can almost make out the pattern and the rhythm of the tune before it's even inserted. However, for you, Jin, there's definitely some sort of sound that you're hearing. However, it's not as clear as it is for Marcus. However, there is some sort of sheen and shimmer to it. So that makes her seem less crazy, for lack of a better word.
She's still crazy, but yeah.
All right, cool. So I nod. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I believe
This
her.
is why I want to find more crystals and stuff like this. And I'm always interested in finding like little cogs and screws and stuff that people have discarded, because you never know what you can make of them. I suppose I have too many jars of them at home. But you never know when one is going to be important.
The
I said
rusty
if
nails
she
are the
is-
problem.
I said if she wants to find more rocks, she should check out the quarries and chalk him out.
Yeah, fair enough. You know that towards the bluffs, perhaps there might be some diodatic geodes or something of this sort, which have been formed over time in the hard clay that can be found up there, or perhaps anything through the small river that runs through the small little tropical rainforest in that area. There might be something to pan for. However, at this point, you all are interrupted as there is the intermittent thwacks that have been coming from the rum shop nearby, less than 40-ish feet away, has turned into what sounds like a yelling and a shouting match at this point.
What's that? And I'm walking in that direction.
I say,
Sounds like
I say is the rum shop. They do that around this time.
What are they doing?
They're
The middle of
Sounds
the
like
day?
they're
and they're
Dominoes,
playing.
maybe?
They're playing the
eating
game.
something.
At
we
which
see?
point you can hear a muffled sound of a gentleman shouting over everyone else. I will bury you mother upside down, big man.
Wow, that is obscene. That is fighting words.
At
Okay.
this point, you would hear people shouting about, "Well, big man, you come back here. Yo, you better not here. Look, and tomorrow the rum is on you. But for the time being, hear me out. Shovel. Don't come back here today. We're done with you." You can hear murmurs of agreement, at which point you can see what appears to be a middle-aged man, mid-40s to early 50s, very calloused hands walking by, barebacked and with a very sinewy build. he's wearing just slippers as they're like plaiting as he's storming off and walking by. And he just takes a look towards y'all. He goes, "Welcome."
You know, me personally, I wouldn't take that, but you know, that's just me.
I want to see what they're doing.
He
I think
says,
Fizz is
"Don't
already
about?
walking in that direction.
don't worry, I got something for them. They're just upset that I could count the dominers better than them. This whole time, man next to me was looking in my hand, but I don't mind nothing. Anyway, dang it, get me vexed. I tell you already, if you get me more vexed, I'm bury mud upside down. Jane, you would know this as Jonah Shovel Paris. He's the local grave digger. He works at the small
Nice.
I
So
tell
when you-
Jonah that he shouldn't be telling people about their mother.
See, for right now, big man, those men got my head hot, so I gonna walk away before I tell you about yours.
I'm sorry.
Hey.
What are dominers?
I chuckle
And he's gonna.
and give him a death stare.
He says,
Do I have intimidation? Can I roll?
"We can definitely find something of the sort."
What do I have? That
Brawn
you
or
give-
vitality?
Something in brawn,
Mhm.
or if you have something in
In body.
will, if you can impose your will on
Yeah.
someone through psionics.
I have instinctive understanding, finesse, resilience.
Or you mean as a synergy?
These are my descriptions of my traits. I have
These are
metamorphosis.
traits that he has.
Yeah.
I
Let's-
think you've, and then at which point he gives you a smirk. He says, "Man, Jenny, buy you a rum later. You know it ain't serious. You know it ain't that serious."
Let me see.
At which point he will continue to walk towards the church.
Well, I have flattery. Why
No.
do I have flattery? That should be
There's a
intimidation.
church.
Sorry.
We can use flattery along the same veins if you'd like. I imagine you are so adept at flattering that you can impose anti-flattery.
What would it even say to intimidate a grave digger?
That's a very good question. I
What
don't think
would you
there's anything you can say.
I guess I cut my eye. I guess I would cut my eye at him and like crack my knuckles.
Okay. What's your modifier to that? As I'm going to flop for you.
Is that
That is another
that
3,
is
unfortunately.
That's in acrobatics. Wait. I am so confused right now. That's
It's okay.
Mark got my head spinning. But that is in support and flattery. I guess. And I don't know where that comes from. I can't remember where that comes from.
Flattery. I am looking it up. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
Of course, my Adobe Acrobat stopped responding. Regardless, for the time being, I'm going to say with an unfortunately low. Oh, there's a support skill under body called Intimidation. Hint, hint.
Oh, okay. If it uses body,
Port.
the body scores are 7 and 10 though. That's for resilience and finesse though.
Okay. Give me 1 second. That's fine. Okay, so we will flop again. What are you? Let me shuffle these decks because that's been 3 3s for you, and that doesn't feel fair.
Oh, I have very low luck with dice rolls.
RNG is not on your side.
Okay.
RNG
It
is
just
not on
seems
your
to
side.
be the RNG of a luck because that is 4 threes in a row. It is not me. It is the unfortunate. As you said, it's hard to intimidate a gravedigger like this. He just happens to give you a smirk, mention that he will buy you a shot of rum later as he prances off. You guys are quickly met shortly after by Ned and Mia returning. They have not seemed to have been gone as long as you would have expected. You've spent a fair amount of time so far. It's approaching midday at this point, and the clouds on the distance seem to be looming closer, ever present. As you have been standing here having this conversation, at this point, I imagine moving slightly up the road to the rum shop where you are greeted again by Ned and Mia. They're out of the corner of your eye. The gentlemen have all now sat back down at the table and have resumed their game. You can hear the loud music, the calypso type beats coming over the broken speaker from the just within past the counter of the rum shop, headed by this lovely middle-aged woman, as you know, to be referred to as Mama Sherry. And out of the corner of y'all's eye, from underneath a stack of plastic chairs in the corner, there is a slow slither as you see these pointed legs, large pincers, as you are greeted by what seems to be a strange middle of the day sighting of what is apparently the largest centipede you've ever seen in your life.
Ew.
And as quickly as you notice it, a flip-flop goes flying by straight towards it as it scutters and goes back behind, hiding. As Ned is standing next to you now, his elbow wrapped and bandaged in this it's not his elbow, his wrist, apologies, in this wrapped and bandaged in this tight white gauze. And he seems to be doing this little hop and skid as he makes his way over to you. Right, so as we mentioned, you know, perhaps a deal. You wanted help, I can help you for a price.
Okay, but I don't think a slipper's going to kill that centipede.
Yeah, well, perhaps that's the price we'll talk about. Back to my shop.
Sure. Aging to make something.
We'll get there.
Fizz is super interested. Do we still see some guys playing dominoes?
Yes.
So Fizz is super interested in this particular game. She's heard about it. She hasn't really seen it before. She's going to kind of stand and watch for a second to see if she can figure out how it's kind of working. And very likely on the way out, mention either to Olin or to Marcus that she would like to buy or have a set of those dominoes because it looks like a very interesting sort of look. It looks like her kind of thing. She could do something with it.
You notice as well when you're watching the guys who are playing, as you're going around the table, they're just looking at you and just.
Oh, I'm just trying to understand the game.
Oh, you don't understand? Never mind
No.
then. And then they,
I mean, I have a 10 in intelligence. I can understand it pretty quickly, but
I try to give a too long, didn't read version about it basically being. I'm really bad at explaining things. It's basically a matching game, but the strategy is that you have to get all the cards or the tiles out of your hand before the other players do.
Mm-hmm.
and the first person to win 6 games wins the match.
So as Jin is
We try to
talking,
give somebody a pig. We want one of these people to carry home a soul. You hear one of the people at the table say.
okay. So you can almost see, like, if Fizz's head was clear and you could see the world, the wheels turning, you can see her like understanding this game as it starts, as it plays. More the more she watches it, she starts counting, etc., etc. I think if we didn't watch a game long enough, she'll be able to tell Jin who's going to win this particular hand. If you want me to pull for it, I can.
Not at this moment, because at this point Ned has come and he's starting to shuttle you back. At this point, I imagine Olin's giving you a gentle nudge, like, "Come on,
mother."
Olin got distracted and is looking for that centipede. She has rocks. I have bugs. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
I'm with the kid.
Alrighty. In that case, give me a. Sorry, folks. 1 second. I have to reload my character sheets.
So yeah, I will tell you, Jin. Like, I'd like to get a set of this game. This is super interesting. Maybe I don't know if I want to come play with these guys. They look intimidating, and I don't know that I want to slam them so much. But yeah. What do you think would happen if I came in and like won a game?
They'd probably be angry.
I'll give you $20 if you can make double that. I'll let you get a cool rock.
Hey.
Okay. As you guys are searching, you can either give me a perception, intelligence, intuition, or Kisbet check.
I think I'm gonna go straight intelligence. And I think I can grab this. Okay, so I have a King of Diamonds, and intelligence is a 10.
Okay. Fair enough. You are able to, and you, Marcus, following Olin, are able to see the crack underneath the wooden side paneling of this rum shop as it dashes out and skitters, and you can see what appears to be a fallen coconut husk, an old coconut husk face down, damp around the edges and dark. You can definitely determine that this is probably where it has skittered off to.
Yeah. I am going to
Mind
back
you, it
away.
was yay big.
Okay.
Forearm length. Great. Lovely.
What?
I'm gonna go poke it.
I would notice
I'm gonna poke
Olin
the
looking
eye.
for something. Come
No,
up
don't go
behind
poke
you.
it.
What are you looking for? Sorry.
There's a bug.
As you
I
poke
saw the
it,
bug.
and you poke this old upside down coconut husk, there's as what appears to be 20 or so of them come running out in all different directions.
Oh yeah. No, I'm screeching, jump back.
varying sizes. A couple of them even running over your feet and your shoes, scattering in different directions, often small, different damp, dark corners.
Her first encounter is
I-
centipedes.
I told you not to
Ew.
poke it.
At which point, Ned will go, "Get bit by one of them, you get here. All right, no, y'all listening or not? You want me at things in the shop, or are we just weaving this weird tangled web of randomness
I think
throughout the day?
you
Don't
can
get me
help
wrong,
with that
this is up to y'all to do, but
particular. I would like to come make something in your workshop, yes, but this is a particular problem. I would say that's a lot of bugs. Ugh.
remember I said for a price. We can discuss this price.
Sure you did.
Let's
Okay,
go.
let's go discuss this. I'll grab Olin by the shirt tails and drag him.
Even in
I'm
this short
already
time
outside.
frame, you're now starting to hear in the distance this of thunder crackling as the looming clouds that a fisherman said can pass by seem like they are not indeed getting passed by as they are making their way closer. So you step into the shop. Ned himself seems quite dexterous, and he has a weird way of moving around within, almost clambering and climbing over things sometimes. Very dexterous with his appendages, double jointed in some parts, even as he seems to slink and sleuth by them. At which point he goes, "No, I sure want to seen and heard from Mia that you're trying to bring whimsy and magic back. So I can help you with that, to make your own little whimsy and magic here within our own little slice of life. But as you've seen, we got a little bit of a bug problem. And nobody I know in these towns like these Stampedes. Which begs the pardon that, you know, you got to earn your keep a little bit. This ain't part of the tour or sign that we offer to people who's come here. So they, from what I heard, they got a nest of them up near the top of the cliffs, near the jungles, that them is like to hide out. So if y'all could go and deal with that in some way or the other, I will happily teach you a couple tricks, make some trinkets. You said you want a knife, I could make you a knife. Perhaps I might, actually, you know what, you're going to need these to cut through that brush. And with these here as well, sometimes you go cut off the head, and even them is keep wriggling. So, and he'll hand y'all, each of you a cutlass.
Okay.
You got
Do you
cut.
have,
Go ahead.
do you have gasoline and a match as well?
You want to burn out the whole Rangate place?
I mean, fire cleanses all.
I do have little. I can. I mean, I'll.
I can
out of one
spare
of
a
my
little bit of
pouches.
a gasoline and a match. And at which point he gives you a small spray bottle, a lighter. You want this, or do you want to cut this? As he looks at you, Marcus.
I'll take the cutlass. Thanks.
Okay. Well then.
I have something that might help. I hate bugs, but my son loves bugs. So I have these little tiny, like almost like cherry bombs, but they're not explosive. They turn up, like using vibrations, they turn up dust and dirt and stuff, and kind of like open nests and holes to make things scatter out, so this doesn't have any fire or flame.
That's fine. Remember, not everywhere you go meets the eye. This place, like Mia said, the whimsy is here. The fantastical is in action. It's up to you to find it, explore it.
Okay. Let's go on an exploration.
And with that, we will end our first session.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Let's see.
Yay.
Thank you,
And I
folks,
keep
very
the
much.
bugs.
And for those of you who have chimed in, so far so good. Things have started off rather mundane, and we will see how long it stays that way.
We're praying for mundane, but then we're done.
Everything is not what it appears to be here. There is a tinge of something else that is lying beneath this old, sleepy seaside town. So once again, thank you guys for playing. Thanks for checking in. We'll be back again next week around the same time. So be sure to tune in then. Thank you again to Skylarkin Media and Alluhwi Comics. The goal and backing is doing very well. We're almost at our goal on first day. There are stretch
Yay.
goals for anyone who's chiming in. They're great. We have some other cool surprises coming, or Skylarkin Media has some other cool surprises coming. So make sure to check those out. And thank you for being here. We appreciate you. We love you. And let's see where the truth in the myth lies later on.
Woo.
Mark, anything to add before we're out?
No. You guys have been amazing. This was super entertaining for me to listen to. Hopefully, everybody who has watched this live or backers would have found it as entertaining as I have. You guys are really good at this, and I am very much entertained. So thank you.
Sweet.
No.
Mhm.
Thank you, guys. Catch you same time next week. Bye.
Bye.
Tune in next week when I catch some bugs.
Mm.
Gotta catch them all.
We're gonna be best friends,
Catch 'em
and I'm
all.
gonna torment everyone with these centipedes.
Mhm.
Looking forward to
For
that.
every stretch goal you make, we will name one centipede after a random back.
Yes, I
I
agree.
really hope that happens now.
Cheers.
Okay, and we are out. Yeah, that was fun, guys. Thank you. Awesome.